Hello guys, welcome to the last episode of this series. Today I'm going to talk about how I organized the staff communication team on the Winter Conference, about a thing called creative process, and a few things that I learned with the communication of the Winter Conference. Let's go. So how did I organize the communication staff team? So the staff team was divided in 3 teams: logistics, people, and communication. The communication team was me, Margarida, and Paulo. They were part of the staff team. They were selected to the communication team by Mariana, so I didn't do it. To organize the team throughout the event, I started from the operation plan that Mariana built. Even for the people in the communication team, she defined some logistic tasks that needed to be done. But then, for the biggest part of the day, she left blank space for me to fill in specific communication tasks. And so I defined 3 main tasks to be done during the event. First one was recording video for the after movie, then photos, and then real-time communication during the event, like creating stories for Instagram, tweeting about what is happening, and live streaming and things like that. So how did I allocate the tasks? First, I allocated the video for me because I had a little bit more experience on that, and then I allocated the real-time communication to Margarida because I knew that she had previous experience with YouTube, creating videos for YouTube, like vlogs, and it's important for this task that the person is comfortable in creating content on the fly, especially during an event like this. And then the photos to Paulo. But during the event, things didn't work always like this. There wasn't this clear separation of tasks between each one of us, and I did that on purpose. So Margarida and Paulo were dating, and still are, I suppose. And so I took advantage of that to create a sub-team. So I told them to keep exchanging tasks whenever one of them had to do something else more important in the event, because unexpected things are always coming up. So before the event, they were very proactive. They came up with a communication plan of things that they wanted to communicate during the event and ideas of how to engage more with the participants during the event, creating some contests for them to win t-shirts, They also worked very well during the event, but of course some things didn't go as well. For example, like taking photos at the closing ceremony. It's a very stressful situation, taking photos in a ceremony like that, and I think that's why it didn't go so well. And it requires a certain level of skill and agility with working with the equipment and being in that environment, because it's a very exciting environment and things happen very quickly, and so it's hard to be able to register in photos everything that's going on. And then it's a low light situation, cameras don't always work well, you have to be able to come up with a workaround. It's hard, but generally, they did a very good job. So yeah, this was the communication team. Now I'm going to talk about the creative process, or creative process. So creative process is something that I've been thinking about a lot since I went to Brussels to live there in the JEE house. And living there for 6 months allowed me to get some clarity on this. The fact that I was living in Brussels and working at home with the rest of the core team and away from my previous life in Portugal, I was able to focus a lot more on myself and the work that I was doing. In Portugal, I had university, my junior enterprise, family, friends, sports. It's a lot of things that are always happening, and a lot of things that distract you. And in Brussels, I was able to focus. I didn't have friends to visit. I didn't have anywhere to go. We were living and working in the same house. We just went out for food shopping and have a waffle sometimes during the weekend. And so that gave me a certain level of self-awareness, and I started paying attention to a certain pattern in my creative process, meaning in how I go from an idea or something that has to be delivered to a result. Now, I'm far from being able to fully describe it in simple words, but there is already one thing that I can identify, and that is content-driven design. And so content-driven design is, as the name suggests, design that derives from content and not from a format. So I started thinking about this. I googled my thoughts and I found an article with a title content-driven design. I read it and I was like, okay, this is it. This is how I feel. And so I started digging a little bit more into it. So without a content-driven process, everything I do is based on wireframes and components and placeholders. So I know what kind of information, I know more or less what kind of information I'll have in whatever I'm designing or producing. but not more. And I started noticing that leads to boring results. I noticed that only when I had a content first that needed to be transformed in a certain format to be communicated, I was able to create more interesting connections between two products or designs, and I was able to generate extra ideas and add more to the final product. And that was a much more exciting way of working and to deliver my work. On the other hand, sometimes we don't have the final information that will be present in whatever we're creating, in the image or in the video or in the design. So I have to create something that is general enough that will accommodate that information that will be received later. The problem is once I have the content in, it's time to deliver, because these things usually have a very short deadline. So I don't have the time to go an extra mile or to put a second thought on that thing that I'm producing. And yeah, this is what I understood so far about how I work and how my brain usually works, I suppose. I also suppose some people may have different opinions and may work in a different way, but this is what I understood, and I think it's very interesting to notice this and to be able to understand how we work and to then be more prone to create the right conditions that allow us to work in the best way possible and to deliver the best results possible. About communication, in a winter conference, the things that I learned, the first one is that people love to see themselves represented in social media. Either in a video or in photos or in an idea. They like to be represented because that allows them to express themselves when they then share a post that you made that has a photo or a certain idea or a certain video where they are represented. They will share that because it's a way of expressing themselves and letting others know, I like this, I am like this. The second one is that paper is not dead and it's far from dead. It's very interesting to see that usually people say, okay, let's focus on the digital. Digital is where the attention is. People like the digital. But in this event, a big part of the engagement came from the not digital stuff. I forgot the name. Paper. Okay, paper. People share photos of them holding their badges next to the roll-up, and sometimes for the people who delivered workshops, they took pictures of the sign that said the name of the workshop that was stuck on the door of the room. And nobody took photos with any Instagram post that I did or any video that I did. Like, people don't take photos with that. People take photos with these objects that I created, that are present in the events physically, they are on paper. So that's interesting to see. And last one, this one is more like a tip. The things that people write on social media about the event can be used as testimonials for future editions. So make sure that you save those posts so that you can use them later, or you can pass them on to the next team of your event. And that was it, guys. This is the last video of this series. I made other videos about the after movie, the opening ceremony, the badges, the Instagram feed, and the Winter Conference visual brand. So if you're interested in this topic, make sure to check them out. I hope you get some value out of those. Bye bye.